right now? Wait a second. Is this the newscast? Am I on the newscast right now? Cool, that's what this feels like. Excellent. What am I doing here? Sean's gone. Okay, well, I guess I could do it, sure. I was going to do it next week, but this week, too? All right. It's starting. Okay, all right. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Technophiles Newscast. I am David Geisler, guest hosting for Sean Kerr today. Sean is out in the wilderness camping. I'm kind of excited for him. It's his first time he's ever done it. So what that means is you have me this week and next Monday. You may recognize my voice, at least, from the Technophiles podcast, the show on TPN that I host. And sometimes Sean guest hosts for me on there when I'm out, so here we go. Everything comes back around. So you may or may not know that Amazon has been doing some pretty interesting things with drones lately. They're moving forward. Apparently they're like on their 8th or 9th version of these little helicopter drones that are going to fly around and deliver, you know, lunchbox-sized packages to people all over the world, apparently. I guess that's the plan anyway. Well, naturally, the FAA is kind of freaking out about this because their whole job is to control what goes up in the air. Well, just a few weeks ago, the FAA went so far as to actually ban Amazon from further testing these drones. Obviously, Amazon's pretty freaked out about this and they want to keep doing it, so they've actually, this week, released a petition asking for them to still do testing. So the FAA has said, okay, drones are fine for hobbyists, but actual commercial drone use is what they're kind of getting all worked up about. You know, this is kind of a tough one for me. I can kind of see both sides. Amazon is doing something pretty cool, and I kind of like the idea of a future with drones flying all over the place, but let's face it, we are in a new territory here. I think drone technology has been advancing much quicker than the FAA could have ever predicted, and certainly quicker than they can even necessarily write laws for. I have a little bit of sympathy with the FAA. I can kind of understand it. I don't know if they can make sure that certain altitudes, the drones can work in certain altitudes or something, but frankly, they got to figure it out. But for now, it's a real bummer because Amazon is just dead, stopped dead until the FAA figures out what they want to do. Can you imagine just like jogging and boop? In all fairness, you don't want some rogue drone smashing into an airplane or something like that. There's a lot of stuff up in the sky already, and if we're going to put more up there, we need to make sure we're doing it right. So I see what the FAA is doing, but man, I really wish we could kind of move it along a little bit, you know what I mean? We'll see. So maybe this won't be 3-4 years away. This might end up being 15 years away. Just because we got to make sure we're doing it right, I guess. I'm kind of excited for this next story. Apple has made iTunes extras available on the Apple TV. Whoa, crazy. Who'd have thought, right? This story is a little bit more interesting than just having the extras be available, though. In the olden days, the original iTunes extras, they would load up a little chunk of HTML inside kind of like a browser in disguise inside your iTunes. And so when you were moving through and just going to different links, really you were just kind of running a little micro kind of weird little website and queuing up files. Well, the Apple TV and iPhones and iPads and stuff, they didn't really have the infrastructure built for, I guess, pretending they're a browser and loading some HTML. So if you are running Apple TV version 6.2, iTunes 11.3, or of course iOS 8.0, you will be able to access the completely redesigned iTunes extras. What they've done is they've written completely new code here now, and I have to say, I was bumming around on iTunes last Thursday, and it's pretty impressive. I mean, okay, what's impressive about a DVD menu, you may ask me, and I'll tell you. Basically, what used to happen is, on iTunes, you would download the iTunes extra movie file, and this big fat file would sit on your computer. The original Apple TV was kind of a Mac Mini in disguise and just held these humongous files on a hard drive inside because they weren't quite there with the streaming yet. This is 6-7 years ago. So the current Apple TV, which is technically like an iPhone 4 kind of in disguise, hidden in that little hockey puck, the Apple TV streams. It doesn't hold anything on its hard drive. It has like 250 megs of something. It has almost nothing. So what Apple has done is they've made iTunes extras in the cloud. When you load up a movie file now, you're accessing these menus and they're coming from the cloud. Now this is where it gets really interesting. I kind of wanted to try this out, so the first thing I did is I went to iTunes Movies and I pulled up the Lego Movie, for example. I remember the original iTunes Extra Lego movie had like 2 behind the scenes. It was a little underwhelming. And you had to watch it on your computer. You couldn't watch it on a TV or a phone or anything like that. So I go in there just to see what it's like, expecting these 2 pieces of content. And to my surprise, there's behind the scenes specials, 25-minute making ofs. There's even videos of a guy showing like, hey, if you want to make the cop car, use these pieces. If you want to make the double-decker couch, this is how you do it. All of this is on there. That's great. Okay, so obviously how are they able to do this? I mean, it is kind of obvious. They're just updating the file on the cloud. So what that means is we now have a dynamic situation where we could have films that get updates every couple years or something, every couple months, who knows? We could have audio commentaries that all of a sudden get added in. Remember the days where you'd buy like a crappy version of a DVD and then 6 months later there'd be like the special edition with all the crazy stuff? Well, this is kind of taking care of that whole thing. So I have to admit, I had a lot of fun digging back, and you know, Wreck-It Ralph, Avengers, they all had extra additional features added on, which was I kind of expected. I know Fox is really on board with this. Obviously, anything Disney is pretty much already set up for this kind of stuff. To my surprise, I went into the Indiana Jones trilogy, quadrilogy, and even it was updated. That's Paramount. That was really cool. My final test, I went to my Jurassic Park trilogy, and sadly, that one's not updated yet. No, I should be clear about this. When I say not updated, I mean the original iTunes Extras file will still work on a computer, but this kind of new iTunes Extra wasn't available yet for Jurassic Park. However, again, this is, TechCrunch called it, you know, a living library, which I think is kind of well said. This is a situation where in a month, maybe, or you know, Jurassic Park World comes out, Chris Pratt can't wait. Jurassic Park World comes out, and maybe we can get some extra things that come out for JP 1, 2, and 3. See? They can add these files at any time, because that's when the attack comes. Not from the front, but the side. From the other 2 raptors, you didn't even know were there. Clever girl. So I think this is totally great. It's kind of, shouldn't they have done this 4 or 5 years ago? But they're doing it, and they're doing it right. And that's cool. That's cool with me. And for our final story tonight, Microsoft is in the news because they have announced that they are going to reinvent themselves. They are the new Microsoft. They're going to change the world. How are they going to change the world? Well, they're going to do it by focusing on mobile and cloud. I mean, really, Microsoft, come on. Like, where were you 7 years ago? You know, I gotta be fair here, though. Back in February, Satya Nadella got the new position as the CEO of Microsoft, and I am kind of rooting for the guy. I think he might kind of get it. He's the one that's saying we need to do platforms, you know, mobile cloud. It's kind of like, yeah, Microsoft, that's right. I feel a little bit bad for him because it's kind of like he's been given this big, fat vehicle that doesn't take fast turns and takes a long time to get up to acceleration, and he's got the mind of a motorcycle driver. Obviously, Microsoft is doing the right thing here. It's just, you know, late to the party. I don't want to be a hater. I'm just saying, we get it. It's like classic. It's classic. But you know, we got to be honest here. Office for iPad worked out very, very well. I know Office for Android is coming out in a little bit, just a month or something like that. And I think they've got the right idea. You know, every company at this point has to be focused on platforms and services. We've got Apple, Amazon, and Google that are, for the most part, hitting it out of the park right now. It's about time that Microsoft catches up. Okay, everybody, that's it for the Technophiles Newscast this week. If you enjoyed the episode, remember to like, share, subscribe. I personally recommend that you share. Share like you just don't care. The show was made by these amazing people. Only 2 of us this week. It certainly wasn't written by anybody. Remember, you can find us at Technophiles Pod on Twitter and on Facebook by searching Technophiles Podcast, or go to our actual website, technophilespodcast.com. I guess that's it for now, Sean. I hope you're having a great time camping, and I'll be back next Monday for one more lap around the old newscast situation. I'll see you guys. I've always kind of wanted to try to touch these things. Not gonna happen. Not gonna happen. Oh well. Maybe you guys, you go for it. Click. Check out some of our older episodes. I think the blooper one's down here. That one's pretty good.